Hi, y'all. Beautiful day or night or whatever time you're watching this. I'm Julie, Mama Jules Marshall. My sobriety date is June 2nd, 1999. I'm going over part two of step one. We admitted that we're powerless over our problems, that our lives have become unmanageable. In Acts chapter 9, Saul's conversion. Meanwhile, Saul was uttering threats with every breath and was eager to kill the Lord's followers. So he went to the highest priests. He requested letters addressed to the synagogues in Damascus, asking for their cooperation in the arrest of any followers of the way he found there. He wanted to bring them, both men and women, back to Jerusalem in chains. As he was approaching Damascus on this mission, a light from heaven suddenly shone down around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Who are you, Lord? Saul asked, and the voice replied, I am Jesus, the one you were persecuting. Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. The men with Saul stood speechless, for they heard the sound of someone's voice, but saw no one. Saul picked himself up off the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he was blind. So his companions led him by the hand to Damascus. He remained there blind for 3 days and did not eat or drink. There are complete in. Okay, next page. Back to the outline. There are important moments in life that can change our destiny. These are often times when we're confronted with how powerless we are over the events of our lives. These moments can either destroy us or forever set the course of our lives in a much better direction. Saul of Tarsus, later called Paul, had such a moment. After Jesus' ascension, Saul took it upon himself to rid the world of Christians. We've heard that in history a couple times, haven't we? As he headed to Damascus on his mission, a light from heaven suddenly shone down around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? I am Jesus, the one you are persecuting. Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. Saul picked himself up off the ground, and when he opened his eyes, we read that part. So his companions led him by the hand to Damascus, where he remained there for 3 days. And why put that in there again when we just read it? Anyways, Saul was suddenly confronted with the fact that his life wasn't as perfect as he had thought. By letting go of his illusions of power, however, he became one of the most powerful men ever, the Apostle Paul. When we are confronted with the knowledge that our lives aren't under our control, we have a choice. We can continue in denial and self-righteousness, or we can face the fact that we have been blind to some important issues. If we became willing to be led into the recovery and into a whole new way of life, we will find true power. That's step one. It's time to choose. I'm in I'm beyond that. I have chosen. I have 24 years of that choice. Now it's time to take further action in my progress, um, in helping you all, um, other people like myself that in my past have struggled. Even in my present, I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling with fear and insecurity of the future. But that's neither here nor there because we're never going to have that security of the future because the future is never here. Tomorrow is always tomorrow. It will never be here. And it's never going to be a present because present is present. So I'm going to combine the last one of this to make it, rather than a 3-part, because I'm only 4 minutes into this one, I'm going to make this a solid 2-part with the third part of this step one step work right now. The paradox of powerlessness. We may be afraid that we are powerless and that our lives are unmanageable. If we admit that we are powerless, won't we be tempted to give up completely in the struggle against our addictions, it doesn't seem to make sense that we can admit powerlessness and still find the power to go on. This paradox will be dealt with as we go in and on to steps 2 and 3. Life is full of paradoxes. The Apostle Paul tells us, we now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. This makes it clear that our great power is from God, not from ourselves. We are pressed on every side by troubles, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but not driven to despair. The picture here contrasts a precious treasure and the simple container in which the treasure is stored. The living power poured into our lives from above is this treasure. Our human bodies, with all our flaws and weaknesses, and the perishable containers, or are the perishable containers. As human beings, we are imperfect. I want to read that again. The picture here contrasts a precious treasure and the simple container in which the treasure is stored. That is talking about us. The living power poured into our lives from above is the treasure. Is it good or is it bad? That's your choice. Um, I got rid of the crappy crap in my treasure box a while ago. It took some time to clear it out and to make room for this beautiful, beautiful world that He's given me, the peace and the serenity, the wisdom and understanding the difference between them and me. The things of my actions, the consequences of my actions, or the consequences of their actions. Once we recognize the paradox of powerlessness, we can be quite relieved. We don't have to be we don't have to always be strong or pretend to be perfect. That's why I'm doing this in live, real time, step study work. What I'm doing for you is for me because, um, you know, I like to share my sobriety. I like to share my knowledge. I like to teach, and this is teaching you what I've learned, and I'm happy with that. Even go ahead, doggy. Even with the chaos that can still be consumed in our lives, it doesn't necessarily have to be a part of our lives. Everything revolves around us, but at the same time, too, it's not us. We don't have to be self absorbed and all wrapped up into our own being, which is what addiction and drugs and alcohol, fear, sex, the addiction they're into those problems we've talked about. That's it. But we don't have to be powerless and out of control to deal with them. Um, we can live a real life with its daily struggles in a human body beset with weakness and still find the power from above to keep going without being crushed and broken. The last time I went to the emergency room, I was in profuse pain in my back. And I told them I can't do contrast eyes, so MRIs are out of the question. So I did a full spectrum of x rays. Well, when they were looking at the x rays while they were taking the pictures, there were three radiologists in the other room. And I heard two distinct voices at the same time. One went, oh, and the other one was, oh my God. They were looking at my back, the low back, to be specific, the region in the hips area. And I have enough bone spurs grown in between my L5 and my XL. Excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself just slightly. You'll understand in a second. Between my L5 and my S1 are enough bone spurs to be deemed an extra vertebrae. I have grown an L6 in my back from bone spurs. I beat myself up when I was younger. I didn't care. I didn't know. Ignorance is bliss, right? I had no idea what degenerative disc disease would do to the human body in the future and what I was doing to it. So, that's the consequences of my actions. Hence the consequences of Saul's actions in persecuting the Christians and uh, persecuting God. It was no bueno. No, no, no. And God set him straight. And in that, he's like, dude, you're going to be dependent on others, and I'm taking away your power. Oh, that's good to a certain extent. Humbleness is key. I have my home. Yes, it's a 25-foot RV, but it was blessed to me by the hard work that I've done by God. You have to do the footwork. Nothing is going to be handed to you on a silver platter. It doesn't work that way. Okay? You have to do footwork. You have to gain self-knowledge and self-discipline. That's the key word, discipline. So, anyways, no. Neighbors are doing stuff. Action. How much action have you put into getting drunk today or getting your fix today? The amount of effort you put into, I can do this, the amount of effort that you put into getting drunk or getting high or getting that dopamine fix, whatever that dopamine fix is, that good feeling from the brain, but your body's paying a toll for it. When are you done? I hope you're done soon because you're powerless over that addiction. You're powerless over that drug, that alcohol, that crumb cake. It doesn't matter. Food, sex, alcohol, drugs, a lottery ticket, gambling. It's all a waste. There are many more important things in life than that crap. And you're blowing it. You're blowing it. There's so much more to life than that. And I am going to continue on with this step work. This is a short one. I guess I could probably, well, I don't know. You guys let me know. I'm just doing this. If I have to combine a couple of them into one, that might be more prudent. 45 minutes long to do 3 different sets into one step work, it might be worth it. I know sponsors and people like that will spend a lot more time on these or a lot less time on them. Depends on how much they're willing to put into it. How much are you willing to put into it? You've put a lot in to getting drunk or to getting high or the obesity or being broke. It doesn't matter. Whatever your problems are, you put a lot of effort into keeping those problems. Are you done with that comfortable shit burrito you're buried in? Are you done with it? You can unwrap it. You can shed that tortilla. Oh. What was that comment I heard a while ago? Um, uh, are you blanco as a tortilla? Let's see. No, maybe some of you might actually understand what I just said. Um, I didn't quite. I did. I understood what I was saying. He's white as a tortilla. It cracks me up. I'm not as white as a tortilla. I have many burn marks on mine. So, anyways, but I'm still tasty. It's a beefy burn. So, anyways, we are a burrito. We're a comfortable shit burrito or whatever, smothered shit sauce burrito. What are you going to take off? What are you going to expose? And what are you going to bring to the world again? Stop being a victim of the drugs, of the alcohol. You are a victim. However, you make everybody else around you the victim because you lash out at them. You're angry at them. You're pointed. You put your shit on them. They don't want your comfortable smothered sauce. No, they don't want it. Don't put it on them. Stop it. Nobody likes it. But you can control that. You don't have to be using it. Just, be chill. Wash your hands of it. Start going to meetings. Or just pray. You might have known God before this and just got disconnected. There's no telling. I can't tell you what you chose. If you don't know Him yet, keep reading. Or I should say, keep following. Keep listening. That too will come. That time will come. If you're ready and I haven't hit it yet in these videos, um, find a local church that has 12-step meetings. It's called Life Recovery. There's a lot of churches that have it. Maybe not in your area. But that's why I'm doing this, is because I don't really have any in my area that I can get to. I'm autistic. I'm having a difficult time spreading my horizon out. But that's what this is for. I am branching out. I'm plugging back in, per se. Um, I've been disconnected for a long time, in a sense. I mean, I'm still out here. I'm still doing. And I have been for over 10 years. Um, and I have learned so much. It's scary. But there's more to that to come. Everything in time. I'm going for change. And I do mean big change. My family's been here for a very, very, very long time. Not nearly as long as the American Indians, those that are still here, um, because, the bad white men that, we heard about in here, those that persecuted the Christians like Saul did, there were a lot of them. And there still are. There are a lot of people that would persecute the Christians. There are a lot of beings that persecute humans, whether they're good or bad. Here's why. There's a greater war going on here than any war amongst the humans. It's a spiritual war. It's the war of the devil against God. It's a losing battle. Some of us actually know that. But you know what? Here's the sad part. The losing battle is those humans that are dead without the salvation of Jesus Christ with them. They're the lost souls that will never be able to be saved. And there's nothing we can do about that. But we can do something about this now. We can take it back. We can take us back. We can take humanity back. We can take companionship back. We can take compassion back. Apathy is of the devil. Apathy is no love, no compassion, no understanding, no caring. It's nothing good. Apathy is solely of the devil, and he would kill us because we are made in God's image. He does not want any of us as children, God's children, to be with the Father. He wants us miserable and dead like he is. You don't need to be in that suffrage. You don't need to be a part of that. You don't need to be a loss. We don't need to lose any more humans in this war. That's it. It's not necessarily a world. We will have a world war. It will get to that point. That is prophecy. But are we there now? Do we still have some time? I'd say yes. I'd say, oh, yes, yes, yes. And I'm not saying hell yes because I don't want hell to have any more of you. Period. We can be unified. We can be saved. There are aliens out there that would be our allies, and there are aliens out there that are our enemies. There are demons, there are fallen angels, there are angels, there are good beings that are way more than the others. Way more. This is the winning battle. What side are you going to be on? You winner? Or are you dead? Are you a quitter of sinner? Yeah, it's good to be a quitter. Quitting sin is becoming alive. It guarantees the future of your existence in a spiritual realm like none other. These are just shells. These are just a vessel that holds the Spirit of God. Today, while I was on my adventures, I saw things that let me back up a little bit. This is kind of mind blowing. When I was younger, sorry if I messed up the mic. When I was younger, um, a new Christian in third grade, I was blessed. He gave me gifts, and He gives you gifts too. He will give you gifts. You get right with God, He's got blessings for you. We all have special gifts. Mine, I was able to see the spiritual realm, and it was awesome. But it was scary too. When you don't understand, that's fear and prejudice. That's prejudice. When you don't understand something, it becomes fearful. That's prejudice. And if you act on that, it's even worse. Today, I'm sitting in a restaurant eating my Chinese food. And there's only two people in the restaurant. It's just first hour of being opened. One guy came in and sat down. A girl came in, a young, older woman came in and got her food and left. And as we're sitting there eating, this random guy looked like human walks in, and he's doing the whole drug thing, the erratic movements and the talking to yourself to you don't know who, but they're talking. And it's usually bitching. Usually they don't really say anything nice when they're all whacked out like that. So he comes in and he orders, it's a bucket scoop. So he's ordering food and they get up to the register, and I'm paying attention, not looking, just paying attention. And I'm thinking, I wonder if he's got that money for it. I might just pay for it. He sounds like he's going to be short because they usually never have the money for it. They're, usually spent it on their drugs already. So he actually had the money. He paid for his food, and he took it and he sat down at the table closest to the door with his back towards me, watching out the front door. Flea spot. The first spot you can get closest to the door and watch so you can get out as fast as you can. And man, it was weird because some of the things coming out of his mouth were like, he sounds like he's having a conversation with a individual, and quite frankly, it sounded like he was having a conversation with a female individual that wasn't there because he was by himself. However, um, okay, whatever, he's out there, and I get this, so I'm gonna let it be at that. Well, he gets up and goes to the bathroom. And as he walks past me, he says, "Oh, you should videotape this." Uh, how did he know that I was thinking about that? Or was it a spirit that was in him that knew what I had, what I would do, what I could do? I hadn't really thought about it. Actually, that's not true. I had thought about it, but just a brief moment. But I thought about it. And then he walks by and says it. And then he makes another comment as he's going back by in regard to like a female type of thing. It could very well just be somebody in his life that was not me, that was a female that he was griping about. But the correlation of what he was saying as he was walking past me was just a little bit too pointed. And he never looked at me. He couldn't. Let me put it to you that way. He couldn't look at me. And he sat back down again. And I put my stuff away, put it in the bag, and put my phone back in. And I'm waiting. I'm making sure, she feels okay enough. Who am I? I'm a security. I don't care who you think I am, but I'm going to watch her and protect her because the guy that's in her life is in the kitchen. He's not paying attention to this dude that's cracked out and crazy up front. He has no clue. And the guy that's behind me dining, he's too old. No, I'm not going to put that on him. I'm not that old. I might have wrinkles, but I'm like a good, nice, firm leather glove, well worn, but very still hardy and usable and functioning. I might have a hole here or there, but it still works. Anyways, so I see her being okay and she's just doing her thing. And this guy seems to be chilling out a little bit. He's still out there, but whatever. So I get up and I start to walk out. And I didn't turn to look at him at all. I just started to walk out. And as I waved at the lady and said thank you, that's when he said something. And it was directed towards me. And it did go in one ear and out the other because I realized that was no man in control of that vocalization. That was a devil. That was a demon in possession of that body because he allowed that demon to take him because he's been doing the drugs and he's whacked out. When you do the drugs and you do the alcohol, you let yourself become highly vulnerable to possession. And yes, there are demons to be possessing you. You want to know why? Because that's reality. You all want to believe in, vampires and werewolves and zombies. They're real. They're amongst you. They're here. So if you can believe in that, why are you having such a hard time with demons or angels, which, by the way, are not female? There's not a single flippin' angel that's female. That's a myth. Oh, they want you to look beautiful. No. Females are females can be worse than men, quite frankly. Because how many women have abortions and choose to kill that baby before it's even brought into the world? That's wicked. That is just outright wicked. I've done it. I have been there. I have had an abortion. I have had a miscarriage. And I've had 4 live births. I've gone the gambit. My guilt is gone. He's taken it away. I have forgiveness. I have no regrets when it comes to those in the fact that I wish I had made a different choice. Yes, however, that child is with God. Much better place than this. This is hell on earth right now, where it was meant to be heaven, because that's what we were made for. We were made to take care of this planet. We were made to take care of each other. We were made to take care of the animals on this planet. And them taking care of us, if we weren't made to eat meat, meat would not be available. Get your freaking heads out of your butts and realize you can be a vegan if you choose to be. You can. But don't criticize and condone others because they don't choose to be that way. I can't eat green food. You want to bet? Yeah. You give me an avocado, I'll scarf it. I'll eat the whole freaking avocado in one sitting. It doesn't even fill up my tummy. But I'll tell you what it will do. Within 30 minutes, you're going to have the stinkiest, smelliest, nastiest freaking gas emanating from my fucking ass. It will clear a New York City floor. And that's no joke. It's for real. And I've been complimented by the New Yorkers for it. Yeah, it's funny. I love it. It's something I could be proud of. But I don't like it. It's not comfortable. Okay. So I don't eat them. I'm not going to make myself uncomfortable and miserable because of the issues that my body has now. All of our bodies are screwed up in one way, shape, or form because we've grown up in the last 50 years in this food processed, food bleached, malnourished bullshit that they've been putting out for us to make us lazy and slothful and fat because they've taken out the goodness of life. They've taken out the good parts of the earth and said, no, we're going to contaminate it and we're going to de-weed it and we're going to kill it with poisons and toxins. Yes, this ground fucking sucks because Roundup, really? Why don't you go drink it? It's a more direct path because that's what you're doing to our planet. That's what you're doing to our continent. You know, they don't do that in Europe. They don't use Roundup out there. They've realized that they're much better off with what little bit they have if they keep it and take care of it properly and don't kill it. What is with people wanting to kill things? That's the demonic side of it. Okay? The devil wants all of us dead. All of us. He wants us dead. Which side are you going to choose? Do you want life? Make the right choices. I'm a human being. You're a human being, I hope, because I know there's some out there that aren't. However, you even have the remotest bit of human being in you. And you do. Believe me, you do. You still have those choices. What's it going to be? You know, the human race is made in His image, God's image. And yes, it might have been distorted in certain things because, um, we've been contaminated. That's a whole other story to begin with. That'll come up. That'll come up. But we have been contaminated. We don't have a pure genome anymore. We haven't had a pure genome for a while now. Inbreeding, not anymore. It's like outbreeding now. And the inbreeding that they have done because they wanted to keep pure made it even worse. You can't do that. You have to add new DNA and altering in because we're beyond the first sections of the growth in humankind. He made it so it didn't matter. But we're beyond that now. So it is what it is. We're a contaminated race. But you still have the choice to make the right choice. The life choice. Your life. And in effect and regards, the lives of others too. Because they'll watch you. They'll see the change. I'm a change. They've seen it. They've watched it. And I'm getting my security now because of it. I've earned that. I had to demonstrate it. Trust isn't just given anymore, it has to be earned. You have to earn that. You have to demonstrate your trust and faith, your determination, your self control, your restraint, and your compassion. Well, it's your time to choose. I've chosen this already, and I'm sharing it with you in hopes that you too can live a better life, a more peaceful life, a more serene life. Drugs and alcohol will not ever get you that. Never. Far from it. So, well, I guess I'm going to wrap this up. This is the final chapter for step one. Let me make sure that it goes on to step two. What is that? 1483. That I've marked that before. However, I will be continuing these in different segments. And let's see, make sure that was the conclusion for step one. Where'd that page go? Oh, I passed it. Anyways, this is, I am Julie, Mama Jules Marshall. Yeah. Now we have this light shining in. Oh, wait, yeah. Did I finish reading that? I flipped. I got so distracted. This is part of step work. Sometimes you can get distracted. Mine is, talking to you and losing some distraction, plus the dog, but he's cool now. So let's make sure I got this all covered. Um, we may be afraid to admit that we are powerless, that our lives are unmanageable. If we admit that we are powerless, won't we be tempted to give up completely in the struggle against our addictions? It doesn't seem to make sense that we can admit powerlessness and still find the power to go on. This paradox will be dealt with as we go on to steps 2 and 3. Life is full of paradoxes. The Apostle Paul tells us, we now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. This makes it clear that our great power is from God, not from ourselves. We are pressed on every side by troubles, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but not driven to despair. The picture here contrasts a precious treasure and the simple container in which the treasure is stored. The living power poured into our lives from above is the treasure. Our human bodies, with all their flaws and weaknesses, are the perishable containers. As human beings, we are imperfect. Once we recognize the paradox of powerlessness, we can be quite relieved. We don't have to always be strong or pretend to be perfect. We can live a real life with its daily struggles in a human body that beset with weaknesses and still find the power from above to keep going without being crushed or broken. That's the last part for step one. Have faith. Take the strength from God. Take the strength that I'm giving you now. It's a little bit. It's something. It's a rung. It's a step. It's a stone. Use it to balance on. Use it to step on. Use it to grow from. Either way, I hope you use it. I hope you don't lose it. Because life is too precious. And you have family out there that love you. And you have an extended family that you have not even yet tapped into. That's my family. It's God's family. And there's a few of us out here. I hope to rally them together, and I hope that it grows because this country is in need of it. This country was founded in God that we trusted. We've lost that now. In God we trust is just stamped on a coin or a dollar bill or a bill. Are you going to trust that God? You cannot trust the humans that have run this country into a shit show anymore. They're dysfunctional. They're communistic. They're all about themselves. Where's the money? I want an audit. I want to know where all this money that we pay in taxes goes to. I want to know because I don't see it here. I don't see it in the things that we should be getting better in society that we pay our tax dollars for. Paved roads. Paved roads without potholes. Yeah. Where's our taxpayer money going? To put a famous quote, a famous line, this town needs an enema. Yeah. This country needs an enema. It's time to flush the shit out of this body. I'm done with it. I don't know about y'all, but I think there's a lot of y'all that would believe me on this and agree with me on this. This country needs an enema. It's time to clean up the shit. I sure hope you're on board. Um, and yeah, the sooner you subscribe and share this with other people, the faster the change will happen. And I'm going to be putting out step 2 here very shortly because we all need the crash course. And since y'all can watch this one after another until you get through it, the only thing that's stopping it from getting online faster is how fast I put them out. Oh, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I am going to do it. I am up for it. I'm ready for it because the challenge that I'm ready for in the future may be a lot bigger than this. I hope. I don't know. I have aspirations. I have dreams. It's genetic. But let's move on. Y'all have a beautiful day. Thank you very much, and God bless.